the streets, and it is April, which is Autism Awareness Month, and I got two special guests here. Oh, before I forget, make sure that you watch the bottom of the screen, the entire video. So if you want any information on how you can donate or get more information about autism, it will be flowing across the bottom of the screen. I also have with me some of my most favorite people who are going to give us some great education and information about autism. I have Eileen Hawkins, who is the president of the Autism Society of Cleveland. And I also have Mrs. Southall, who works at Apex Academy, who is a special education paraprofessional here for the school. So she's going to give you more information about that. And right now we're going to speak with Ms. Hawkins, and she's going to give us more information on how people can get involved. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you for being here. You know, a lot of people don't know that April is Autism Awareness Month. So what we want to do today is make sure that we highlight the importance of education on autism. So what exactly is autism?
Autism is a neurobiological disorder that affects children and adults. It is a spectrum disorder, so it is varying in degrees. Some people are mildly affected and other people are very severe on the spectrum. And it's challenging because most people with autism do not look disabled.
Okay.
And so when everyday people who are not educated in autism meet someone with autism, oftentimes they are not aware that they're actually disabled. I always tell families it's very easy to tell if someone's disabled in a wheelchair or if they're blind or deaf. But to tell somebody with autism if they're disabled, it's very difficult to recognize at first if you're not familiar with the disorder. People with autism, their main challenge, no matter how severely they're impacted, is with social interaction. Things that we take for granted, they have to learn. So they have difficulty with eye contact. They have difficulty holding conversations, give and take. Some people call it theory of the mind, so they are focused on their special interest. Many of them have one favorite topic, and that's all they're going to talk about. So if you want to hear about trains for 4 hours, they'll be happy to tell you about it. But they forget to ask you about what your interests are, or they fail to recognize that you might be bored listening to trains for 4 hours. So it causes a lot of significant challenges, especially for young people. They do well one-on-one, usually with an adult when they're children. It is diagnosed usually between the ages of 3 and 5, although children that are mildly affected might be diagnosed later. There was previously, prior to a couple years ago, there was 3 forms of autism. There was Asperger's disorder, which was the milder form of autism. There was a form called PDD-NOS, which is a little bit of Asperger's, a little bit of classic autism, but not enough of a diagnosis to make a diagnosis for either one of those, so they called it PDD-NOS. And then there was classic autism. And the real difference between Asperger's and classic autism was that the children and adults with classic Asperger's or Asperger's disorder did not have a deficiency in language. So they spoke sometimes very early and very clearly. And they had almost professor-like talk. So they used words far beyond their age. You know, they would talk, as some would say, like little professors when they were 3 and 4 and 5 years old. People with autism, on the other hand, may have never developed speech at a young age, or if they did have speech, they may have lost it. So a child with classic autism may have developed speech at a year old or 2, and then for whatever reason just lost that speech for no reason. So that is the difference, but as far as the sensitivity to lights and sounds and the inability to have socially appropriate relationships, those are all challenges that many children and adults with autism face. So they share that common bond, but not everybody with autism has the same challenges. Every child, just like you and I, are totally different, and there's no 2 children with autism that are exactly the same. There's no 2 adults with autism that are exactly the same. And I think that that's where education is so important. I have a son that has high-functioning autism, and you know, growing up, people would say to me, oh, he doesn't act like he has autism, or he doesn't look like he has autism. Well, what does that define? You know, so it's very difficult for people who don't know what autism is to understand So to the trained eye, it is very difficult. And it's very challenging for those kids through school because they may not socially behave the right way. They may be 2 to 3 years behind emotionally. And so other children will oftentimes pick on those kids or make fun of them, and then they have low self-esteem and they're just behind. So education is so important. Apex Academy invited me out here today to do the balloon release. The Autism Society of Greater Cleveland is all about educating schools, educating children, so we know that other children who are typically developing have a better understanding about autism.
So you mentioned that your son has autism. Mm-hmm. Is that the reason that you got involved with the...
It is. Before he was diagnosed, I didn't know anything about autism. He's 18 years old, he's almost 19. I have a business background. My degree in college was in business, and if you would have asked me 20 years ago that what I would be doing, it would not have been this. But I think God had a different plan for me, and it all worked out where I landed up getting involved in the special needs community and working in the Autism Society, and it is a tremendous opportunity.
That's some very, very enlightening information because, somebody like myself, I was like you before your son came along, that I didn't know anything really about autism. I think that most people that you will find right now in society, they don't really have really good information about it or what it is. We sort of see things on TV and sort of smidgets of things, but we don't really understand the inner workings of it. But I've had an opportunity to be around some children with autism, and they are fantastic, fantastic young people, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And they have tremendous gifts and potential and so much to offer society and so much gifts and love to give to their families and to people who take the time to get to know them.
So for those who are watching at home or wherever they're watching, can you give us, is there some information, a website, and some telephone numbers and emails where we can sort of get people involved and also donating to the cause?
Most of what we do at the Autism Society is provided at free or little cost. So we offer support to families, to educators, to the medical profession, whoever needs our support, education, or resources. Our website is www.asgc.org, and that stands for Autism Society Greater Cleveland. We serve 5 counties in Northeast Ohio.
Okay, that was some fantastic, fantastic information. And second, I also have a good friend of mine, Ms. Southall, who actually organized the event today, which was fantastic. It got rained on a bit, but Ms. Southall has worked so hard. She has made sure that all the staff had t-shirts and trinkets. She gave all the kids balloons. It's been fantastic. Thank you for sitting down with me, Ms. Southall.
You're welcome.
Now, Ms. Southall, you work individually with a student with autism. Can you sort of give me a little insight of what that's like and explain to people what it's like to actually be able to work with a young person with autism?
Okay, the student that I work with, I actually been working with since 3rd grade. Okay. And I have to say, I had never, I had a neighbor who had a son that was autistic, but I had never worked with a student with that. But it was always, I've always had some kind of interest in a way with special education. And so I came on about 2 years ago as a one-on-one for the student here at the school. And it's been quite a challenge because I've learned right along with, the first thing when I knew I was going to be working with a student, I went to the library and I got a book. And I read, what to expect, how to prepare, at the different age levels and grade levels, and and far as the different degrees of autism, like I said, they can be high functioning or not. And the student that I work with, I would say that is pretty high functioning.
Yes.
And so I've been working with her for 2 years. And have watched her grow and blossom. And when they talk about students having special gifts, this student has a beautiful singing voice.
And she can draw.
And she loves to sing. And she loves elephants.
Yes.
So she loves elephants, and we'll talk about elephants. And but she has a beautiful singing voice. And so just my wanting to educate other people about it. And the one thing that I do want to say, a special thing here, that the students here at Apex Academy embrace her 100%. They include her as much as possible. They're very protective. Her classmates since third grade are very protective of her. So the love is here with her, and staff is very supportive of my working with her, and I just enjoy doing it.
Well, you know, these, when you were doing the balloon release, one thing that I noticed from that, because when I was younger, we used to actually put letters on balloons for pen pals, and we would like let it go, and then wherever it finds, maybe somebody writes us back.
We did that last year. We did attach our school address last year, but we didn't get any response from that. And this year, we actually, last year we had 180 balloons we released. Oh. This year, we surpassed that. We had 250 balloons that we released. So I just thank everybody for the support that we have for that. And last year, we were able to donate $150 to the Autism Society. And this year, it will be close to $250 that we'll be able to make a donation to them for.
Well, you know, they used to actually put messages in a bottle and put them out on the water. You know, that was actually the first social media. So right now, this is a little bit old school. We're going to put it on balloons, because for everybody that comes in contact with one of these balloons, they have the autism symbol on it, and hopefully we can educate or have people to be trying to get more information about autism. So what you're doing and what both of you are doing is very, very, very important and greatly appreciated. And you probably won't ever get the accolades you deserve, right? But we know that for every young person's life, we change and we help, and we know that that is priceless and cannot be compared, right?
That's absolutely true.
So I appreciate you two sitting down with me. Just like I said, for everybody that's watching at home, that all the information is going across the bottom of the screen. And we just hope and pray that everybody donates and gets involved with Autism Awareness. And also make sure you donate to this great, great cause, because a lot of young people and adults are being helped through this program. Now, thank you for watching Keith in the Streets. And remember, if it's happening in the streets, Keith will be there.
All right.